Someone brought up Stompers in chat. What I want to see about Stompers is that I want to see vehicles slowly build up. So I want Stompers to be almost like a hero unit, where the more battles you win with the Stomper, the larger it gets. Okay, I want to see an entire overhaul mod that's serious, but it's all memes. All the Chaos Space Marines are Alpha Legionnaires, and all the Alpha Legionnaires are actually Primarchs, so they've got like an ungodly amount of HP. There'll be a Blood Ravens mod where they'll just go around stealing shit, and all of that will be in one overhaul mod. There'll be the Warhammer 40k Total War meme overhaul mod, and it's just fucking ridiculous.
Alright, welcome back, my friends. I'm Mini Pride from Milk and Cookies Total War, and we have
Just
some
skip
new
forward a little bit. So apparently, like, this entire thing, if you don't hear any audio, this was all played in BiliBili TV. If you don't know what BiliBili is, it's basically Chinese YouTube. And I've got no idea why Total War decided to only play a video, not on YouTube, but on Chinese YouTube, of all places. So it really feeds into the whole annual report where they're saying that they really wanted to court more Chinese audience for Warhammer 40k. I wonder how that's going to go. And actually, guys, it might sound a little bit weird, but I wish there is more like fans of Warhammer 40k in Asia. Because here's the thing. When Chinese people and like Japanese people and all that, they're very passionate. And when their thing gets fucked around with, they get very fucking vocal. It does not matter if it's about like shitty games or it's about like knitting or anything like that. They get weirdly passionate and like autistic about whatever they're really into. So I've said this like a million times. If you guys had probably had like more Asian, like Chinese player base for 40k, the whole female custodies, like the female space marines, all that shit would not actually happen. Or at least it would be like 50 times more hilarious because they're really good at making memes as well. Sponsored by the CCP, hell yeah. I'm basically, you know what? I'm basically like Ben Shapiro, but I'm Chinese.
Technically the same scenario battle as the Imperial Guard vs. Orcs showcase from a month ago, but there is...
No, I'm just saying that the Asian player base, they're really passionate and they're very vocal. So if you fuck around with the lore too much, they get really angry about things. Like if a company disappoints them, they get real, like they demobilize like snap in an instant. It's really weird. And I'm not sure if Games Workshop is actually prepared for that.
There's a ton of new footage here that really puts the scale and new features on full display. Some awesome moments and details we're talking about.
Good, then you bring up a good point because space is an issue in Asia.
War games are played if implemented well. They are legitimately cooking here, dude. Actually, look.
Okay, you know what? I'm going on a small tangent. Do you know why I say that like 40k is like for some reason taking off in like China for some reason? There's like a reference. Okay, so there's a game called ZZZ. And lately they've been referencing Warhammer 40k. How do I spell this word? Yeah, nowadays they've been... This is a gacha game, by the way. This is a gacha game. And for some reason, gacha games like to reference popular culture. They like to reference popular memes, feed it into the game, and it builds reliability. So now a freaking Chinese gacha game of all reason, for all reason, they started referencing Warhammer 40k. So I might as well show you guys this. So this is a gacha Warhammer 40k reference. It's a fucking gacha game. I'm not joking.
Sick. First thing to understand, though, this is an edited showcase battle from the Armageddon campaign, which effectively
also whoever animated that Gilliman dance is a fucking fiend.
Players. It may have scripted AI. It may have even been controlled for this particular battle by a second real player as the Orcs this early on. So it's hard to know exactly how impactful some of these new mechanics will actually be in the final game. And I would not be shocked if this particular battle ends up getting milked like the Fallen Gates was for Lizardmen and High Elves back in Warhammer 2, or Blackfire Pass was back before the launch of Warhammer 1.
Has anyone seen this battle?
Damn, there is some visually impressive and tactically interesting stuff on display here. Basic gist of it is, the Orcs of the Deathmakers clan have laid siege to a civilized world. There's an ongoing fleet battle that may or may not have some real gameplay implications in space, but without question, both fleets can...
You know the funniest thing is I actually know what you're talking about. The whole love and deep space thing. I actually know exactly what you're talking about. And that's the stuff that I'm like referencing right now is that they get like weirdly passionate about things that they spend money on, and it's stuff they actually like obsess over. They're almost like the Eldar, like a certain way.
Can impact what happens on the surface, offering powerful stratagems like orbital lasers, rock drops, and land strikes. The Imperial Guard are fielding a force of Kasserkin, Cadian stormtroopers, Ogryn with Ripper guns, and an armored cavalry regiment of Scout Sentinels, Leman Russ and Rogel Dorn battle tanks, Chimera troop transports, and the mighty Baneblade. The Orcs, meanwhile, are on the attack with a primarily melee force of Slugga Boys, Storm Boys, Mega Knobs, and the Stompa, dwarfing.
Do you know what's a really missed opportunity in Total War 40k that they should actually bring in? It's this. It's that you guys remember in the Second War of Armageddon? So this is the one where the Black Templars. Wait, no, the Black Templars were in all of them. This is the one after Angron. And so, you guys remember in the War of Armageddon where they activated an Ordinatus? And an Ordinatus is basically, it's not standard. There's no standard to what an Ordinatus basically is. But it's like a super, super heavy weapon that's usually like a shipborne weapon. So it'll be like a ship plasma cannon. Or like a Nova cannon or something like that, mounted onto like a land chassis. And one of those actually appeared in Armageddon. And so I think if you're putting Warhammer Total War into, sorry, if you're putting the Armageddon War into Warhammer Total War, I think an Ordinatus actually needs to show up somewhere along the line. And I think it'll be really cool. It'll be really epic. But I'm not sure if they're actually going to do that because that sounds ridiculous at the same time. And I think there needs like 10 times more orcs on this field to actually justify an Armageddon battle. But I'm just saying.
Even the mighty Gorkanauts, equipped with Mega Choppa.
Yeah, I forgot what was the one that was activated during the Armageddon War. I think it was a shipborne plasma cannon that's mounted on a land chassis. And like they drove that motherfucker around and it actually like destroyed like an entire orcish advance by itself.
Cannon.
Check this, Discord. Give me a moment. What's this? I'm gonna have to read it later, man.
Gatla, a big ol' Burna, and Super Duper rockets. So Dwa is armed to the teeth, and the Guard need to outmaneuver them big time. They want
I see you, but I'll read it in a bit.
First thing they're going to do is set up an ambush wing
tangent
on their right flank, led by Scout Sentinels and some battle tanks. Scout Sentinels are a fast-moving Vanguard-type vehicle with high visibility and scouting range, relatively low armor, but high maneuverability, used to harass light infantry or transports with multi-las, autocannons, heavy flamers, and missile launchers. Apparently, they have a lot of different loadouts you can bring. They're going to be moving out to the high ground in the north and laying wait there for a few minutes until the bulk of the Greenskins have pushed past through the river in the center. Once the Orcs are engaged, then they're going to make their move. They're going to spring their ambush in a
And someone brought up Stompers in chat. What I want to see about Stompers is that I want to see vehicles slowly build up. So I want Stompers to be almost like a hero unit, where the more battles you win with the Stomper, the larger it gets. So it's almost like the thing from like if you play Command and Conquer General, where like you start with a tentacle and then you have the tentacle like salvage a vehicle, it becomes like a super tentacle and it becomes like a giga technical. I want to see that with a Stomper. So you start with like a baby Stomper and then you win the game and then the Stomper just gets like bigger and bigger until it's like the size of like a boss battle.
Spectacular fashion. More on that in a moment.
And I think the Orcs need an actual scrap mechanic. There needs to be some kind of like scrap looter mechanic or something where they like start stealing guns. Like they should not have a blacksmith building. They should have like a scrap mechanic where if they get like enough scraps, that army just can upgrade units within like, you know, you can click on the tab and upgrade it, right? You know the Total War mechanic.
In the center, the Kasserkin and mainline Cadians are going to set up for the Orc assault. I want y'all to pay attention to the Guardsmen as they interface with cover here. We'll zoom in, slow
you guys
down
remember
a bit,
like the monolith and
attach the broken
like Dark Crusade, how it like slowly powers up? I think that needs to be the Stomper, but it's a bit more usable initially. Like, yeah, I'm repeating myself. Let's keep going.
They aren't forming a single huge regiment in one big block. They're splitting off into pockets of 6 or 7 smaller platoons that all interface correctly with their
that
own
in
pieces of cover, providing layered
TWW3?
ranks and overlapping
smart
fields
then,
of
yeah.
fire just within that one unit. It's kind of what I was talking.
I mean, I'll be real. The orcs in Warhammer Fantasy are not that far removed from orcs from Warhammer 40k. There are definitely law differences. There are no black orcs, but I think a lot of the culture and how they operate are basically the same. They can almost copy-paste the entire mechanic, like the war mechanics, the scrap mechanics, and all of that, and they'll probably make a lot of sense. I hope they're not that lazy. I hope they actually spend the time to actually add more cool shit to the orcs, especially if like they already figured, you know, how orcs work in Total War Fantasy, right? So I think the growing stomper is a good idea in my mind. There's probably some other cool ideas as well. Yeah, let's keep watching.
About when I said some organic
Yo, what's up?
level.
Careful about milking cookies and all because of Warhammer Total. I am very careful about a lot of Total War content creators because a lot of them turned on Legend of Total War when he was being critical. Like when here's the thing about Legend of Total War is that he is an asshole. He is Australian. There are many demerits to what he does as a personality. But he has always been on the side of the player. He's always been on the side of the consumer, and he's not afraid to be honest. And he's quite eloquent as well. And he's, you know, hardworking too. So he's definitely a good guy. So when you see like a guy like that who's on your side and he gets freaking lynched by other content creators for taking your side as like a consumer, as like a person who bought the game, it really does not make me feel like I should trust a lot of the other people who turned on him, right? Like, and some of them were like, you know, should I name names? Maybe I'll save it for later.
Maneuvering would be great to see in this game. There are going to be templates of cover in Total War 40k.
But unfortunately, if you want to cover the game, then, you know, these are the guys. Like, here's the thing, man. Like, this video came out like 2 hours after it was revealed on BiliBili. Like, did this guy get early access? I don't know. Maybe he's just really on the grind.
And regiments will attach themselves based on that layout of the cover, splitting off into small.
Can you really trust that content creator who's got early access in this day and age?
Smaller kill teams rather than operating in one big square. You probably aren't
That's
going
why
to
I'm
have
not really
individual
listening.
control over each one of those smaller platoons, moving them in and out
I'm
of
just
cover
kind of talking
and
over this.
like their own units. But it's going to look and play a hell of a lot better than the cover system from, say, Napoleon.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but
as the guard advance here.
Oh wait, this is pretty cool. Wait, did you see that?
A lot better than the cover system from, say, Napoleon.
Oh yeah, no, this is a definite improvement. This is kind of cool. I wonder how melee is going to interact with that though. I feel like it's over the moment the orcs actually cross the river. I feel like the moment the orcs get into melee with these guardsmen, like, do guardsmen even put up a fight against orcs in melee? Like, in the lore, do they do well in the melee?
As the guard advance here, looks like the standard Cadian guardsmen have las guns, while the squad sergeants in those groups have plasma pistols and chainswords. Ogren, of course, have the Ripper guns for mowing down enemies at point-blank range, and Casterkin have a combination of, I think...
what happens when, like, a stomper just drives through the building, like, belly punches the building, and then the building collapses? Does everyone inside just die? They have to, right?
Plasma guns, grenade launchers, and hotshot las. One thing you're going to notice a lot in this gameplay is destructible cover, and units interacting with their...
Dude, these Ogrins are, like, more overpowered than the Ogrins in Dark Tide, man. What the hell? Wait, did you see that? This is walking through concrete. Like, no, screw Space Marines. Just have them march towards the orcs. Just like, they're apparently their movement speed gives them like AP or something on the contact. It's like tank shock.
Their environment in a much more
tank shocking the freaking barricade
manner than we're used to in Total War. Ogrins, Sentinels, and tanks will quite literally flatten obstacles as they move through them.
It's in development.
In those areas, and guardsmen will vault over
probably know about
in
it,
their
right?
path. Now, should Ogrins just completely obliterate and explode a concrete block when they move into it at walking speed? Probably not. But
I mean, here's another question: should I even get Dawn of War 4 anymore? Should I even get Dawn of War 4 when this game just seems like a bit... I don't want to be mean, dude. And there's also like a Dawn of War 4 battle rap we're going to watch as well. But I feel like it's a lot more involved than Dawn of War 4. There's a lot more cool shit going on. And it feels a lot more like Total War, even though the unit sizes are kind of small. It looks like a small skirmish, but it feels a bit more Total War. I mean, that feels a lot more 40k than Dawn of War 4 right now, I'll be honest.
you get the idea that may not be finished. Very soon, you're going to see how that interaction with cover, how you can manipulate it, can play a huge role in a practical scenario. Now, tactically, this battle shaped up to be very interesting. The Guard have placed their heavy tanks and Baneblade on the left, denying the Orcs use of the bridge and forcing them down onto the low ground through the river, where they're going to be slow and easier pickings for mass range fire. And they're just going to start unleashing death and destruction from ruins along the way.
I'm really curious on artillery. Are there any artillery in this? Let me see. There's no basilisk. There's no basilisk, yo, man. Maybe they're off-field.
Waterline, kind of like the night raid on Osgiliath in Return of the King.
Yeah. No, Luca's on the same wavelength I am. Like, where the hell is a basilisk? Is it off-field? Is it going to be like Fall of the Samurai, where you can call artillery on the map?
This time, the defenders know the Orcs are coming, right? They're going to hammer them hard with grenade launchers, with plasma and tank fire,
Death Strike missile.
And from above. The Mega Knobs look absolutely awesome, although their animations in melee combat might be unfair.
Okay, so if they want to make this kind of low accurate, and I know that not everything needs to be low accurate, but hey, you know what? It'll be cool. Death Strikes need to be requisitioned from high command. So if you want to requisition the use of a Death Strike missile in the lore, you need to actually contact high command, and they actually need to give you that approval to use the Death Strike missile. So I think the right way to do it in a Total War game, and this is totally doable, by the way, is that you can spend resources on the map, and then when you go to like the pre-battle screen before the battle actually starts, you can spend resources, like requisition, for like a use of a Death Strike missile. So maybe like a Death Strike missile will cost like 500 requisition or something, and you have a pool of like 1,000. You can requisition like 2 Death Strike missiles for that one battle. And it becomes like, you know, because it'll be kind of weird if you're just Death Striking every single missile. I mean, Death Striking every single battle, right? Like it's like, oh, look, we're taking a village, Death Strike. We're doing a siege, Death Strike. Ambush battle, Death Strike.
Finished at this stage doesn't look quite as fluid or high quality as what we're used to seeing, but as the Orcs cross, the Guard will employ some of their stratagems on the blobs that are forming to slow them down and outright kill a bunch of them. From what I can blobs,
these guys are going to get updated. These are the Mega Armor Knobs, right? And the normal Mega Armor Knobs are really old model, and now they've got new Total War 40k models. So it means that that model is probably going to get updated. I'm just guessing.
That are forming to slow them down and outright kill a bunch of them. From what I can tell, one of the stratagems is a Valkyrie rocket pod strafing run.
They look fucking ridiculous still. I know that the Mega Armor Knobs, like, they're not the pinnacle of modeling. They're just boxes, but still.
Meant to clear out light infantry and absolutely chunk some Orcs on the way in. This one has 2 uses and starts the game on a 60-second cooldown. The other 2 stratagems are what I believe to be a Hellstrike missile, huge AoE, high explosive, good for clearing out a big mass of armored infantry,
that's
more likely
cool.
Armored vehicles, good for clearing out.
I want to see blood in the water. A really cool effect right now would be like, imagine if the water starts off like green or blue, and then as the battle progresses, the water starts running red. That would be so cinematic. Like, imagine a giant siege battle, and then like the moats and the river starts turning red from all the blood.
Out a big mass of armored infantry, or more likely armored vehicles, and then a capital ship land strike from orbit for use on the big boys, like the Stompa.
Oh, this looks cool.
Tank, that kind of thing.
But by the way, I just saw something quite interesting. I feel like, so in the, was it 9th edition rules, if you advance with a Stompa, no, not Stompa, fuck, what am I thinking about? Apparently, if you advance with like Storm Boys, there's a chance for them to just blow up. Like on the 6th or something, you do like a hazard roll. I know it wasn't a thing back then, but apparently you roll for every single model. On the 6th, they like take a mortal wound and one of them dies. I'm not sure if that's still in the current rules, but it feels like you can see this guy here, like slightly to the right. I think he's having a misfire.
Big boys, like the Stompa.
Like one of them just like fucking scoots off and like, you know, does like a little whirly whirl.
Or a loot.
Like that guy on the left.
Tank, that kind
that guy does it.
of thing. Storm Boys getting into the thick of it, chopping.
You see it in the middle.
Stomping.
No, that's a good touch. Oh, wait. The guy in the middle.
Tank, that kind of thing.
Did you see it?
Storm Boys
This guy, this motherfucker
Get
right
into
there.
the thick of it, chopping and stomping. Death Dread following closely behind. Super cool can jump animation.
Nah, I'm okay with that.
I absolutely adore Assault Troops in 40k. Some of my favorite units to use in Dawn of War, from the Interceptors of the Grey Knights to the Raptors of the Night Lords. And when the Storm Boys died, their jetpacks sometimes malfunctioned and send them like spinning off into the air before exploding and jibbing everywhere. Gore going out all over the moonlit sky, straight out of Looney Tunes. Looks awesome.
I want to see them like slamming into buildings. Like if you use these guys against like a building, like we saw, some of the guys can deploy inside buildings. I want to see them like throwing themselves into a wall. It'll be like that cinematic in Warhammer Fantasy, the RTS game, where at the start of that cinematic, they catapulted like an orc into a wall. I want to see that happening, but with like jetpacks.
Awesome. The Guard are being overwhelmed here. They're going to do two things that could absolutely change this game forever when it comes to Total War. Again, if implemented well, that's an if. Number one, they're going to spring the ambush with their sentinels and tanks.
Wait. I think we just saw that.
Side if.
Okay, we just saw that. Wait. You see this guy right in the middle here? It just slams into a wall.
They're going to spring the ambush.
No. The guy just demolished a wall by misfiring into a wall. That's Let's look at that again.
If implemented well, that's an if. Number one.
Oh, you see this guy here right in the middle? He's going to misfire and he's flying straight into the wall.
They're going to spring the ambush with their sentinels and tanks on the north.
And the second guy just took out a strut. It's falling down now. That's a very nice touch. It might be a little bit overpowered, but... Is this battle just going to be like the second war again? I think it's going to be... I think we're on the 5th or 6th war now. I don't really know how the Asuryani are going to be able to have these massive field battles. I don't know. Like the Eldar population is not really that small. It's like small on the scale of things, but it's not going to be so small that they can't field an army in Warhammer Total War. I keep saying Warhammer Total War, 40k Total War. Because I think each craft world still has like 1 million Eldar or something, so if you're putting like 2,000 in for like a battle, it's not really that bad.
Side in, like I said,
I can see that
spectacular manner. They are going to explode through the trains they were hiding behind, destroying that cover, making their own path, then charging down from the high ground to hit the orcs flank as they're tied up in the center. Incredibly cool, cinematically, and in terms of what that could mean for gameplay.
Your Rain Feed DLC. Oh, dude, don't say that. Oh, no. Oh, no. If they actually added your brain then, and then people can just like extract the model. Like imagine if they put in like Gilliman, and then your brain will be in there as well. They extract the models and then just like have like stupid like animations with them. Not naughty ones, but just like stupid 3D ones, you know, the meme ones.
But some big questions here. Were those vehicles on the high ground actually hidden? Do enemies need direct line of...
Oh, yeah, he brings up a very good point. I hope the AI does not cheat. I hate the cheating AI in Total War. And not even the Fog of War. I just hate it when the AI gets like a buff or you get like a penalty on the higher difficulty. I don't want that shit.
Sight?
The AI is going to be very important. The AI, here's what's going to break it the game. Number one, the AI and the sieges.
Fog of War function maybe a bit differently in Total War 40k, because in Warhammer 3, those units would have been visible, I think. They're vehicles, they're tanks, so they would have been seen. Here, maybe they weren't. The orcs didn't really react to them. If they can be on a different elevation and then use cover
to the battle getting bigger.
Their position.
I don't remember that many. They just spread out a bit.
And then explode through cover and attack. That's huge for gameplay. If you need flyers or more direct line of sight in 40k, then those lightning fast blitzkrieg vehicle ambushes could be in play, where tanks act like the Kool-Aid man. And
sieges need to be like multi-layered in this game, because I don't think there were any hive cities that were taken like within a day, unless the hive city literally just like opened the doors to the orcs. I think it happened in one case in one of the Wars of Armageddon where they just gave up. But except for that, I think like a siege needs to be multi-layered. So like a hive city needs to be like 3 sieges. So you take the outer defenses, and you take the inner defenses, and you take the middle of the hive city. And depending on how deep they really want to go in, you might even need to do like a siege for the undercity as well, because the top of the hive city is like 50% of the hive city. There's like an entire structure underneath the hive city as well, where you have to fight like gangers and shit like that. Taking a hive city is like, it's really hard, but it's much harder than what you'd actually think it is.
say, "Oh yeah," bust through a wall with a hidden dreadnought or baneblade or something.
So, like, preferably there'll be this battle here, which is like in the outskirts, and then depending on how the battle goes, you will probably have to do like another battle, like in the city center, and then on like the actual hive spires.
And then start turning stuff into red
To make it even remotely
if
realistic.
How...
Because imagine you fought a battle out here, right? Imagine as like a narrative sense, you fought a battle out here. You win this battle as the orcs, and somehow you take over the entire hive city. Like, it makes no sense. The moment your armies are weak, they'll declare war the turn after. The books wasn't that how they did it. They first did it through war rocks, and then they started storming the walls and the gates, and then the gates fell. Yeah, it was like a gradual process. Though the rocks deployed from the outer space, that's how they that's how they deployed onto the planet. And then they laid sieges onto the walls of like Hive Hades and shit like that, right? Once the walls actually went down, they still have to overrun the entire city. And then it was then when, construction workers on cranes, and you get people jumping out of buildings with like grenades strapped onto them, all the guerrilla stuff started happening. So it wasn't like a automatic process where you just break through like one part of the walls, or even taking like one part of the city center. Like hive cities are almost like the size of an entire state in the US. It's just like saying, hey, I took over New York, and therefore the entire state is now ours. That's not how a hive city works. And it's a very big disservice to the lore if that's how it works as well, because if you look into Warhammer 40k, like some of the most epic battles were based on sieges. None of them were resolved very quickly.
How it works, that is awesome. What they showed here was awesome. I just don't know if it's actually...
Like I said, you could have like an entire Total War 40k game based on the Siege of Rex. The entire map was just Rex. It's just you taking this like small sections of the Rex fortress, and that will still be like accurate. That's just how complicated sieges are, and that's how complicated how it's presented in a lot of the books. You can probably have like Total War Hive Hades, and the entire map is just Hive Hades, and you're just spending like 70 or like 100 turns taking over like small sections of Hive Hades, and still have it make sense. That's how like epic some of the sieges were. But I don't know. Maybe it's too complicated. I don't know.
Going to be how it plays out in practice in real gameplay. The other thing the guard will do, besides this brilliantly executed ambush that may or may not be possible in a real battle, is summon dynamic battlefield reinforcements. Now, ideally, this is how we would see troop transport.
The two game modes, either normal battles or buggy stage, all take place
or rock in with their mega knobs or flash kits and the elite stuff, but the sluggas and shootas would truck in from off map. And for the guard, we'd see some chimeras or Valkyries drive in and drop stuff off.
Oh, wait. So we're talking about reinforcements? I got distracted. Let me go back a bit.
And for the guard, but the sluggas and shootas would truck in from off map. And for the guard, we...
Oh, I like this system. Oh, this is almost like War Games. Has anyone played War Games Airland Battle or War Games Red Dragon? Has anyone played those games? Like any of the Micropost games? Or Eugene games? Sorry, Eugene, not Micropost. Eugene games. So in War Game, right, you build like a deck, and then you don't really have a base. The base is really there for your supplies. And then you have like a deck where the reinforcements come in. It's like the army building. No, that is really cool. And they come in from off map. I kind of like this, actually. Yeah, you played Red Dragon? Yeah, Red Dragon was good.
We'd see
I played the French as Red Dragon. I was a demon with the French army in Red Dragon, man.
Some chimeras.
I don't know why. The French army really clicks with me.
And we don't see the animation for the reinforcement here.
Bro, I fucking hate helicopters, dude. I used to play Red Dragon with my friends a lot, and the motherfucker builds like 1 million helicopters, and they're like a plague of locusts because they just come in towards my farm, they suck up all the supply, and they fly off somewhere again. And I'm like, motherfucker, if you're gonna do that, like, can you build more farms? And he's like, no, that's just gonna take away points from my helicopter spam. So every single game he comes in, sucks up all my supplies, my fucking farms, and just flies off, and like probably half of them just dies from like one Tunguska or something.
Camera doesn't linger on it, so I'm not sure how it's gonna work. It's probably just gonna be units walking in from off screen, but maybe CA has something cooking there. But just the fact that there are dynamic battlefield reinforcements for every faction is a game changer already. It's going to make battles larger and more cinematic, more vehicles, more troops, more action, more player choice, and more ways to interact and attack an opponent in asymmetric, flavorful ways. It's not like previous Total Wars where you don't really have control over what comes in, when, and where. Here you place those units in, some of them very dynamically, like I said with the Terminators, deep striking, that sort of thing. You've got a lot more options here. That's awesome. Okay, here comes the money shot. The Orcs are pushing hard, and we've got what I believe to be a Hellstrike missile delivered.
What the hell's that? Oh, you mean a Death Strike missile? It means a Death Strike missile, right?
Delivered via Valkyrie, high explosive stratagem that can only be used once per battle, at least in this gameplay.
It's probably a Hellstrike missile, whatever the hell that is, because a Death Strike is probably a lot bigger explosion. I'm not sure if anyone's ever seen like a intercontinental ballistic missile go off, but it's definitely bigger than this. And that's what a Death Strike kind of is, except the warhead is like plasma or like a like a void missile. Void Bomb, whatever it's called. Warno's a successor game, but I don't know how good it is compared to Red Dragon. I think Warno is a more accessible one that's a bit more gamified. I think Red Dragon is still like the more autistic one. I've been hoping to try Broken Arrow because I heard it's like a good mix between Wargame Red Dragon and was it World and Conflict? But I heard there's some balancing issues, so I might wait for it to go on special and then maybe try it out.
Only has one charge, but we're going to see that new dynamic gore and ragdoll system in action. And by the Emperor, is it absolutely glorious?
It feels kind of small. I'm sorry. It's a bit too small for me. I know it's already really devastating on the scale, but like as a missile explosion, that's like... Is that even like a 100-kilogram payload? Like maybe a 200-kilogram payload, right? If you've ever watched explosion videos on YouTube, a fireball of this size is not really that big.
Holy shit! And then
I don't think this is a 500-kilogram payload. That's not a Death Strike or anything like that.
Narrative stuff they did to set that up too is super satisfying. It's like they did their duty. The guard will die here too. They did what they...
The crater's only really the size of a house.
Needed to do. They held back the tide. Here comes
That's what she
Stampa.
said. Oh,
now we're going to unleash the capital ship Lance Strike from above. And yeah, I mean, this thing's Titan size. This is...
Is it Titan sized? I don't think it is Titan sized. Maybe it's modern Titan. I know that Warhammer 40k shrunk the Titans quite a bit, and I'm going to go on rant here, right? I need to go on a rant. It's one of my pet peeves. I hate what Games Workshop has done to the size of the Titans. Titans need to be bigger. I know you wanted to sell more models through Forge World, but to do that, you need to shrink down the Titans so people can actually fit that on the cabinets or something. I don't know what the equation is there, but the Titans have always been huge. 40 meters tall should not be the height of an Imperator Titan. An Imperator Titan needs to be at least like someone did like the math. Like an Imperator Titan should really be about like 1.5 kilometers tall. Like if you actually want soldiers to be like manning battlements, like Titans and the lore, right? Imperator Titans have like an entire battalion of soldiers on its legs as like a breaching force. They kick down walls. They breach the walls by kicking down walls, and then the soldiers will stream down. They're like mini castles. And someone did like the actual mass for the Imperator Titan, like just based off that. And it needs to be like 3 times the length of like an aircraft carrier, which is about like 1.2 kilometers, and the aircraft carrier is about 400 meters, right? So 3 of them are going to be about 1.2 kilometers. And you add like the battlements and all of that, it's going to be about like 1.5 kilometers tall for that to actually make sense, to make that to be actually epic. And so me personally, I do not buy the whole like fucking 40-meter tall Imperator Titan fucking bullshit. That's not even no, 40 meters tall is not even a mountain. That's not even a hill. That's not even an apartment building. That's not even the size of my dick. I'm not going to stop there. Like, that's not a this is like a maclet. This is a manlet. It's a McManlet Mac, man. Let me rechat because I wanted attention there. But I just fucking zoned in. Stop is like, a bit small, wow, smaller, wow. Yeah, just like, if you tell me this is a knight, then I'll be okay. This is a knight size. This is perfectly good as a knight sized unit. But don't tell me this is Titan sized.
The biggest weapon the orcs have in their arsenal, but can it stand up to orbital bombardment? Baneblade is turning its attention towards that thing as well. And it was probably shot up by some tank fire before it closed into melee, but it's effectively going to get one shot by the orbital stratagem.
Yeah, it does not really matter how it does not really matter how big the Stomper is. It's how it performs on the battlefield, guys. Maybe it's a special Stomper. Maybe it's got like, you know, crazy weaponry inside that more than makes up for it. But I mean, don't tell me it's Titan size. Don't tell me this is a Titan. It's a good, nice size model
of the Imperial Guard. Now,
Asian speaking about size is hilarious. Do you know what the funniest cope thing is about like Asian sizes? Here's a thing in Asian culture, all right? So an inch also exists in China. So a Chinese inch is worth 2 American inches. So the cope here is that when like all the measurements happen, you know, all of that, right? They gave the measurements in Chinese inches. So, you know, like six Chinese inches really is like 12 American inches. Right, so let us get that, you know, let me hammer that down now. I'm just
curious about balance. Number one, you want your stratagems to feel impactful and obliterate units. They should. That's the whole point. I mean, you drop a big bombing run, you don't want to see.
Yeah, does the hammer the nail in? Yeah, does it do its job?
Hit full flush, stay on it the entire duration. The Stompa is going to explode immediately. It's straight up dead. How do you make an orbital bombardment or Valkyrie strafing run as deadly as it should be without invalidating?
I mean,
how do you make an orbital bombardment or Valkyrie?
Here's the thing about the whole presentation of this is that I think the developers know about the epic scale of Warhammer 40k, and probably somewhere in the brainstorm, what defines Warhammer 40k is probably the epic scale, which is why they put like all these buildings here in the background. They know that to be 40k, you have to be big, like your mom, and so. On one hand, sorry about that. Yeah, no, that's just kind of unhanded. So on one hand, they know about that, but then on the other hand, they expect us to believe that like a siege battle gets resolved this quickly. So there's like a little bit of like there's like a little bit of a mismatch there. I feel like
Valkyrie strafing run as deadly as it should be without invalidating units and making them feel like a tertiary consideration. Point and click. On your most elite stuff can be kind of unsatisfying sometimes. I think a very reasonable critique of combat in Warhammer 3 is how magic can obliterate entire elite units with just a click of a button without much counterplay whatsoever, without even really time to dodge. And certainly,
yeah, we haven't even seen
I don't think the Stompa had time to dodge there. But
wouldn't the Grey Knights just be overpowered in this? They'll just go around and just be sucking people into black holes.
There's going to be enough troops on the field to allow both sides to use their stratagems, potentially devastating 4 or 5 units each time in the process, while also not making the battles too short and giving the regular rank and file time to shine and utilize tactics and have their movements end up mattering on a strategic level. Point and click stratagems can kind of be a problem in terms of balance on that front, because you point and click and something dies, and if you don't give people enough time to dodge out of the way or do something to negate it, well then losing your...
Luca, are you going to play Dawn of War 4? Are you going to give that a try?
Your super elite walker unit
it's coming out in like a
doesn't
month.
Feel very good. Very satisfying to watch. People are going to enjoy using that in campaign, but there needs to be some balance there. So it's hard. It's way too early for me to judge. One-shotting a Stompa makes sense with an orbital bombardment, but again, how do you make that feel good from a gameplay perspective? I'm not quite sure at the moment. This is also something Dawn of War 4 is going to have to figure out. We saw it with the rad bombardments, just blowing up Necron warriors, killing an entire blob of them instantly. What a cinematic showcase, though, and some really interesting tactical diversity
That flamethrower is not doing anything
there too.
I mean, it's very orky for it to just vomit out fire and not do anything, but at the same time, it's not doing anything.
The ambush, breaking through cover, tanks coming down the mountainside.
It's kind of funny though if you think about it. No, it's kind of cool. I'm okay with that.
And hitting an exposed flank. Stompas moving forward, getting exploded by orbital bombardment. There is a lot here, not just from like a visual freeze perspective, but also from a tactical diversity perspective. I was really quite blown away by this showcase.
I want to see the mods. I want to see what people actually put on.
And again, it's a showcase. It may not be reflective of exactly what battles are going to be like in the final product, but I think I know Total War well enough.
Yeah, about the whole Primaris thing, the first two mods we're probably going to see is like, number one, remove all the Primaris Marines. That's probably one of the first mods, and then the second mod is probably adding in female Space Marines. Just to make you mad.
At this point, to know that a lot of this shit is going to be in the game.
And then if the Systems of Battle ever comes out, there's probably going to be a mod which replaces all the Systems of Battle with male, like, we get Misters of Battle. And it'll be like a back and forth. And then, you know, when the Custodes come out, if they ever added Custodes in the game, there'll probably be a female Custodes mod. And then there'll be a no female Custodes mod, you know, shit that they'll do.
In real capacity. And I'm impressed. I'm legitimately very impressed with what was shown here. Especially because I thought it might just be...
I want to see an entire overhaul mod for Total War 40k. I want to see an entire overhaul mod that's serious, but it's all memes. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, the overhaul mod is like completely, you know, serious, but unserious at the same time. So like, all the Chaos Space Marines are Alpha Legionnaires, and all the Alpha Legionnaires are actually Primarchs, so they've got like an ungodly amount of HP. All the Marines are female, all the Custodes are female, all the Systems of Battle are men. There'll be a Blood Ravens mod where they'll just go around stealing shit, and all of that will be in one overhaul mod. There'll be the Warhammer 40k Total War meme overhaul mod, and it's just fucking ridiculous. And you know, all the Guardsmen are replaced by Kriegers, and they have like infinite morale, and they only have shovels. They don't have ranged weapons anymore, they only have shovels. And every time you kill a Krieger, like 10 of them spawns or something. What other bad memes are there? Oh, and all the Space Marines will just be screaming, you know, that sound effect from the Dawn of War intro. That's all they say. They have no quotes or anything. You click on them, and they just go, you tell them to attack, and they'll be like, You tell them to reinforce, and it's like, I'm
impressed. I'm legitimately...
And that's the entire overhaul mod.
Very impressed with what was shown here, especially because I thought it might just be like the exact same battle. We saw a lot more footage.
The mod will be called Crackhammer. Yeah, I might actually pay for that.
And it was satisfying. The new gore and physics and explosive system is awesome. Seeing those sluggas just get jibbed and sent flying to the moon in pieces, dismembered corpses ragdolling everywhere. Crazy cool. A lot of interesting stuff to talk about. Let me know what y'all thought of it. I'm pretty happy. See you in the next one. Peace out.
I think that was a pretty fun video. I don't think we actually listened to like an entire minute of this video. I think we're just talking over the top of it, but you know, it's pretty cool. Let's look at the comment section. Cover system's definitely going to be glitchy as hell on release. Yeah, I don't think Total War ever gets anything right on release. In the case of things destroy cover as they move, I hope the things is toggleable. Like me personally, as like a history fan, I don't think tanks should just automatically destroy cover. I don't think Sentinels should do that either, because tank traps are a thing. Like you'd be surprised to know how resilient like a block of concrete is, and how it can fuck up like the treads on a tank. Like even barbed wire will like, yeah, barbed wire can actually like tangle up inside of tracks and just like fuck up tracks. They just don't automatically like demolish everything. So I hope they tone that down a little bit. But I'm sure it's moddable. Oh, and this is actually a big one I actually want to say. They need to make sure that the lasgun actually shoots lasers and not like bullets like in Dawn of War 4. Crouching Guardsman and then the Beyblade. Yeah, they add in, what's his name? Creed. They need to add in Creed, and then his like meme ability and that meme mod will just be like summoning random Bane Blades and Titans. He can deep strike in a Titan.